Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Q Lads channel. We are back for another game of the URC. And a couple of the South African sides have been doing very well this round. Storm is slightly excluded, but I'm sure they'll find their momentum soon. The Sharks, they are now in action up against the Dragons, and they have got some big returns into their side, which we will be looking through. Right now for the Sharks in the front row, it is Machunu at number 1, Fizimbata at 2, and then it will be Oosterhuizen as the number 3, Eben Etzebeth, the enforcer, returning from a World Cup trophy to now get to join a side in the URC. I should mention the Sharks, they are 0 from 5 this season so far. But Eben Etzebeth, one of the many game changers that they have got. For this game, it will be Van Heerden at number 5, James Venter number 6, Pepsi Buthelezi will be playing at number 7, and Nutsche, a man who has been doing very well, he will be at number 8. Jaden Hendrickse at 9 with Kerwin Bosch as the number 10. In the midfield, it is Venter and Lukanyoam. Makazole Mapimpi out on the left wing, Werner Koch out on the right wing, and Apelele Fasi to close out what is a very strong starting lineup. For the Sharks, now the Dragons, they have been struggling a little bit themselves throughout their season. They have got some very good players, though. Sauli in the front row alongside Roberts and Coleman. Screech, as well as Knott in the locking duo, then Lonsdale at number 6, Griffiths at number 7, and then Aaron Wainwright. I feel like he is probably one of the keys for the way that the Dragons 4-pack plays. We saw in that last game between the Bulls and Connor, it was actually that 4-pack of the Bulls that were able to enforce themselves in the breakdown. I feel like this game will be no different. Blacker and Reed as the 9-10, Owen in the midfield alongside Theo Tompkinson. Of course, some people will know him from the Highlanders here in Super Rugby. Rossa out on the left wing, Rio Dyer out on the right, and then the experienced header Kai Evans at number 15. This game's going to be played in extreme heat. It's going to be a tough day at the office, but it should be an entertaining game, and we are hopeful it is going to be a very close one. We have got there, Hamish. Here's hoping for our first win for the season today, says Joss Pike. Yeah, they've been close a few times, the Sharks, in their first games, but just haven't quite been able to get over the line enough, I would have to say. But looking through at their previous results, as you can see, they were beaten by Munster and Leinster, the two Irish sides off the bat. They lost to the Ospreys. I'll be honest, I think that Ospreys game was probably the most disappointing game we've seen from the Sharks. Just didn't find any sort of momentum. They lost to Zebre, though, as well in their next game, which I think a lot of people would actually consider as the bigger loss than the one up against the Ospreys. And then they lost to Connacht by 1 point. 13 points to 12. They almost had that game. And I feel like this one, maybe with a few of those more experienced players coming back in, it's going to be exactly what they need to be able to get themselves their first win of the season. For the Dragons, they were beaten by Edinburgh. They were beaten by Cardiff. They were beaten by Munster. They were beaten by Leinster, but they beat the Ospreys. 20 points to 5. Going to be a hard game. I've said already it's a tough game, but this one, they have to be on their A game. They have to pretty much, at the moment, they've got the Sharks who are slightly out of water, if you don't mind a good pun. And the thing is, the Dragons can either keep them out of that water and keep them suffocating, or if the Dragons allow that Shark back into the water, game over. Who's playing home? So it is a home game for the Sharks in this case. So, yeah, big chance for them to be able to show up with their home crowd in Durban and put on a very good display. I'm giving up on the Sharks if they lose this one. Says just in case. Yeah, I think this game, they are the biggest favourites of this whole round of the URC. The Sharks, that is, even though they haven't won a game so far throughout this season. 24 degrees and 87% humidity, says Arthur Harrison. And there as well, I should mention, Arthur, thank you very much for your generosity on their last live stream. It was greatly appreciated. And he did, of course, gift that membership to Eric as well. So we're seeing some nice emojis popping through. Anyone else who's a member, be sure to get those emojis flowing in the chat as well. But the Dragons lining up, getting ready to go for this contest, which should be kicking off any moment now. But I think we are still waiting for the players to make their way out of the tunnel. But do let me know your score predictions as well, ladies and gentlemen. With the humidity, it's going to make it hard to hang on to the ball with 24 degrees. Probably not terrible in terms of the heat, but it is still a very warm day. And that's the beauty of the URC. Some games you're playing almost in snow. The other games, you're wishing it was snowing because it is very, very hot. But the Sharks, I think they'll still be in their black kit, I assume. But the Dragons have actually got their away strip on, which is grey with black sleeves. So there might be a bit of an overlap in terms of the colours here. Looks like the Dragons have actually got lost. Oh no, they've worked out what way they're supposed to be running, and they are making their way out of the changing sheds now, making their way out onto the field in front of what looks like a decent crowd. I'm sure they haven't quite got the numbers that they would have liked, but at the end of the day, seeing as it is the Dragons, I feel like some people aren't quite as likely to go watch it. Ollie Griffiths will be the captain. He is playing number 7 in this game, but Lukaniwam to lead out the Sharks. Eben Etzebeth, he's got a new haircut since the World Cup. And be looking forward to getting back out there. Makazole Mpimpi also rocking the new haircut since the World Cup. That is a joke, of course. He is bald. Does your dad love to watch the sevens? He doesn't mind it overall. I think he prefers rugby union, although he is very much so, he preferred old school rugby union where the game just flowed. Like he said about it probably for the last maybe 5 or so years that it's just getting more and more stop-starting. He just doesn't get that same, I guess, excitement that he used to get. Because like he used to talk about when he was a boy waking up at random hours of the night to watch it on TV. And, you know, you just keep on falling in love with rugby all the time. And I feel like it's harder at times to do that now when you are having a TMO look at something for 5 minutes and then you got to stoppage here. I think he likes the old school stuff. We have got there the 10 out of 10. And there from Eric as well with his emojis. And the Hamish one. We need an updated Hamish one. Although, to be fair, I don't really look that different from when that emoji was. And that was like 3 years ago. So, I mean, I guess it could stay the same for now. But it's kicked off line by Kerwin Bosch to get us underway. The Dragons straight away putting the ball into touch. Do not want to be playing with it inside of their 22. Getting rid of it nice and early was Blackner. Or Blacker, I should say. And now Fizambata with the first line-out throw of the match for the Sharks. Claiming that one was Eben Etzebeth. Be looking for a big URC season here after a successful Rugby World Cup campaign. Going off to the left-hand side, Jaden Hendrickson back in behind Lukani. One big shot there on Noche. You don't normally see him driven down in that manner. Hendrickson, good attack and run from Machunu. See already that the Sharks want to play this game at a high tempo, try and tire out the Dragons. Offload from Lukaniwam does not work out though. Was dropped by his teammate in the midfield. And now the Dragons on the halfway line. They have knocked the ball on too. So it's a double knock on and the scrum feed will go the way of the Dragons. But it looked aggressive early from both of these sides. Both looking to be quick. Hendrickson, I don't know what he's doing already. He's complaining to the referee. We've had 20 seconds of rugby. I think he was trying to say that the advantage should have been over, even though the ball only went like 2 meters. I watched an 80s Test match, South Africa versus New Zealand. Modern rugby would have destroyed the rugby played in that era. Says Arthur. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, stylistically, the rugby was very different, of course. Like, old school wise, if you were on the ground and you were in a ruck and you weren't supposed to be there, you ended up with probably about 100 sprigs all raking down your back to let you know you're not supposed to be in there. There were no penalties in the breakdowns. It was just keep going. Get over that breakdown. Get that ball in game. It's become a beautiful art. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people would agree that we don't want the art to get diminished. And I feel like at the moment, you know, we've got quite a bit of stopping and starting. Like some games are just so good. I think in terms of Rugby World Cup games, the best game for free-flowingness was actually Tonga versus Romania. Because I think the TMO got involved once, and that was when the referee called him in. Nigel Owens actually said it recently as well, I saw. He said the TMOs are killing the game. We need to have less TMO, and the referees need to have more authority to be able to actually referee. And kicking a 20-pound ball, says Arthur. Yeah, and I think that makes Zinzan Brooks' drop kick a lot more impressive when you consider how the balls are now in terms of the way that they fly and the way that they move. Nice backline movement here. C.O. Tompkinson. I got a bit excited there, sorry, because he from the Highlanders, he's a super rugby boy, so I always have a bit of a soft spot for them. But it's going to be another penalty, this time for the Sharks. Number 10, advancing in front of the ball, so that will be against Will Reid. Penalty that you can't really afford to be given away early, definitely because they had a half by decent chance on attack, although I think they were showing Owen there. So he ended up getting himself penalised. Now going to be kicked downfield from Kerwin Bosch. Oh no, the referee's saying 10, the camera's showing 12, but we'll go with 10. Yeah, progressing too much there was Will Reid, and that is one that really annoys the coaches. When you're normally not doing too badly in the early stages of a game, and then you just give away the silly penalties that can cost you momentum. Jaden Hendrickse goes off now. Nice attacking run from James Fenter, playing number 6 for this game. Pepsi put Lazy at 7's an interesting choice, but he has done it before. Very versatile player. And now loose forward trio, Kai Evans now inside of his 22. It's a good kick, brilliant kick there from Kai Evans. That is about as good as he could have cleared it from inside of his 22 in terms of distance. Now line out throw for the Sharks. They will be about 32 metres out from their own line. Just absolutely smokes it down the field. Kerwin Bosch strategically left it. He didn't want to accidentally take that ball into touch. Fizambata challenge in the air for the line out, but it's nicely claimed there by the Sharks, and they've got the penalty. Playing the man's arm while he was coming down. Oh, that was Emil van Heeren. Very well, definitely under pressure in that line out. Already 5 minutes through this game, but it's going to be absolutely flying by. I should mention in an hour and 15 minutes or so, there is the game taking place between Munster and Leinster, the Irish Derby. Anytime that game takes place, it is always very entertaining, and I hope that it is going to be the case when the two sides go head-to-head again. But yeah, they said that he played the arm there for Matthew Screech. So far throughout the URC, they have conceded 14 tries, the Sharks, which is a lot more than they would normally like to. I think that Eben Etzebeth has just crushed that man's skull. That's another knock on, though, this time the mistake made by Oosterhuizen. Inside of their 22, Kai Evans looking for the big boot. Certainly has it, although he didn't quite get the angle as well as he did last time. And in fact, it's going to be actually taken back. So because of it, they will go back for the original knock-on advantage. It's the best saying that was a bit of a long advantage, wasn't it? Okay, so Eben Etzebeth asked the question. So, if that ball had not been kicked out on the full, it would have been play on. And the referee said yes. But because it was kicked out on the full, that is why they go back for the scrum, because they didn't have the advantage that they would have liked, if that makes sense. 15 tries conceded by the Dragons. So both of these sides have conceded a few throughout their first 5 games. But honestly, that's not that bad when you really think about it. These two sides, they are sitting 16th and 14th. Massive scrum there from the Sharks, and they'll get the early penalty. Not driving straight penalty against the Dragons there. But the thing is, yeah, 16th ranked, the lowest ranked side in the URC, yet they only concede 3 tries a game. So it just shows how close their games have been at times. Like, we'll look through while Kerwin Bosch is lining up this kick at what the Sharks have done throughout the season. It was only really their games up against Leinster and Munster that they conceded those couple extra tries. Like, I'd say that was 4 and 4 in those 2 games, and they only conceded 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 3 here, 2 here, 2 here. So, you know, it's like, yes, they're conceding quite a few tries, but they're just lacking the scoring at the moment, I think, for the Sharks. That's been probably their main factor that they'll look at. They'll go, how can we score more tries? Taking 3s won't do that, but it will give them a nice lead on the board for this match. The Dragons, they're a little bit the same. They've struggled to cross the try line in their games. Their best performance was up against the Ospreys when they were able to get themselves to 20 points to the 5. That kick has gone over for the Sharks, and that is now going to make the score 3-0 in favour of the Sharks as the other game started. It is not. So the start of Leinster versus Munster is actually in an hour and 15 minutes time. So these games overlap by about maybe 15 to 20 minutes, which is really annoying. Because if it was 20 minutes later that next game was starting, we could have probably done that game as well. But yeah, just with the overlap, it makes it very tricky. What did your dad think of the Rugby World Cup final? Your dad must have been disappointed. Says Mornay Lagrange. I mean, he wasn't too disappointed because the game went exactly how he expected it to, which was it was going to be a little bit more stop-start. It was going to be more kicking orientated because of the weather conditions. So, like, at the end of the day, like, he probably wasn't as disappointed as he would have been if it was another game, if that makes sense. Like, it was always going to be a tough one to be able to win. That one from Jaden Hendricks, a decent clearing kick from inside of the 22. I think he was probably more disappointed with New Zealand in the Cricket World Cup semi-final up against India. But, yeah, it was unfortunate. Came up against the team that were undefeated. Now, Bradley Roberts, this line-out throw. Oh, Etzebeth didn't get a hand to it, but it is knocked on. And now it's available for Makazole Mapimpi, and it's great to see him back in his rugby. Of course, got injured throughout the Rugby World Cup campaign. That actually brought in Lukanyuam to the side. Kicked him behind. The advantage is over. Etzebeth may look to the ref and argue, well, we didn't get much of an advantage either. But he is reffing it fairly across both sides. Now the Dragons in possession, 45 metres out from their try line. 9, Dane Blacker has been told to use it. Let's put it high. Should be a good catch for Rio Dye, and it is. No one really contesting with him in the air. Oh, Kerwin Bosch almost had Makazole Mapimpi's head actually up his rear end there. I don't know what happened in terms of that breakdown, but would have been uncomfortable for someone. Now out wide. Rasa trying to cut his way forward. In the midfield, though, the Sharks are in the breakdown. Just a little bit too strong there. Oosterhuizen, he's going to be a hard man to shift when he locks his body over the ball. The clean out was late there from the Dragons, and they didn't quite have someone where they needed. Now they have a decision to make. They're about 55 metres out, maybe even 57. I want to say this is still Kerwin Bosch territory for distance-wise, but I think they'll go for the corner. They will be going for the penalty kick here, looking towards the touchline. Ball is going to be put into touch. Can these few new South African players back into the Sharks side influence a few more tries being scored? Whether that is Mapimpi, Lukanyuam, Etzebeth even. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he can cross the try line. If they use a forward-orientated attack at times, Etzebeth's one of those guys who will just be right in the action all the way through. So far, 52% possession for the Sharks throughout the first 11 minutes in Durban. Now, nice flat run. Here goes the man at 6, James Fenter, just throwing himself at the line there. Round the side of the breakdown, 5 metres out from the line. The Sharks, it's an advantage against the Dragons. They thought they had the turnover, but all they did was give away the penalty. Hendrickson, the ball's been slapped back. Kerwin Bosch, wide cut-out pass up, and Lele Fassi is there. And the try is scored by the Sharks, already crossing the try line in this game. And that is a massive improvement from what we have seen in some of their past games. It's taken a while to get that first try under the belt, but they had the penalty advantage. The Dragons giving away an advantage at the worst possible time, being only a couple metres out from their line. And Apalele Fassi, one of the men who have already been in the Sharks side for a while, does now walk away with the try for the Sharks. But Hendrickson just with that NFL-style pass out to Bosch, who saw Fassi on the outside. Seo Tompkinson, I think he was defending out on that wing due to, in the end, lured in was Ewan Rossa. And left the gap out wide for Fassi to be able to go over. Good vision from Bosch. Good try from Apalele Fassi and the Sharks. They'll be happy with that. And try in there from Eric in the chat as well. Now Bosch here sitting 1 from 1. So far 302 career points. So that 3 points earlier on actually brought up the 300. Can he make it 304? Not really the same milestone as 300. India lost the Cricket World Cup final. against Australia by lack of match toughness, says Monet Lagrange. Great kick from Bosch from the touchline. Has gone over. That will make the score now 10 points to 0 in favour of the Sharks. I have to say as well, Australia's fielding at the moment is just absolutely insane. Like, you watch them in that game up against South Africa, the amount of runs that they were saving with their diving fielding was just very impressive. And I feel like that's the kind of fielding that every side wants to have, but not many sides actually do. And yeah, they save a lot of runs by getting that ball. Now, Sharks nicely claimed by Van Heeren. Are you from Durbs, Eric? Says Arthur. As well, Jaden Hendricks told to use it 14 minutes and the ball has been put high. And our tough one to be able to line up. Kai Evans had it. That's a knock on though. And every time that knock on takes place, we know that the Sharks are going to be strong at scrum time. They showed that throughout the first two. They actually got the scrum against the feed as well. Evans just having a little bit more of a juggle there. 6:21 a.m. here in New Zealand, so only 1 hour, 9 minutes till the next match does take place. That will be Munster and Leinster. Looks like Kai Evans might actually have some sort of neck injury at the moment. He is getting talked to by the medic. Cooking dinner in E, says Eric in there. It isn't. Oh. Okay, they've just said that the Dragons have never beaten a South African side in the current URC. They did beat the Cheetahs in 2020, but of the current URC, they have not beaten any South African sides. And to be honest, I think it's going to be a hard day at the office here. The Sharks look good for that first 15 minutes or so. They just need to keep that attacking pressure going, keep the points ticking over. That is the main thing. What's the most that they've scored this season? I want to say it's about 20 for the Sharks. Is that correct? Something along those lines. Where are we? 21 was the most that we've seen them score. And I feel like they could have 21 by the end of this first half. If they keep their foot down, keep being aggressive, could be exactly what they need. But Apalele Fussy, he was celebrating that try before he even crossed the try line. He knew that he was in open space. Does look like it's still a little bit slippery out there, of course, due to the humidity. Currently evening in South Africa, it's sitting 24 degrees Celsius at the ground. So it's gonna be a hot night, I would say. Still 2 more games to go tonight as well, though. Leinster versus Munster and Glasgow versus Ulster. 2 great games taking place. They actually overlap as well a little bit. I'm not sure why they've gone with so many overlapping games. I think they tried to make it so that every game could be seen, but then it also overlaps, so it doesn't really work. Jaden Hendrickson now, though, feed the scrum for the Sharks. Looking strong. They will look to get that edge, and they do get the penalty advantage once more. Hendrickson, inside ball off to Apalele Fasi, who sits down the Dragons fly half. Now Hendrickson, Oosterhuizen goes out to Machazoli Mapimpi. Tackled low by Evans again. Or in fact, no, this time it is the young fly half. It was already quite a tough day. He's been penalised. He's been knocked on his butt by Apalele Fasi. Bit of a loose ball there for the Sharks through the legs from Lucanio Arms. Some brilliance from the World Cup winner. Now Werner Koch with the fin. They move up to 22 metres out. Sharks have used up their advantage there. 25 metres out from the line. Hendrickson goes off to the left-hand side. Slung across field again. It's going to be Notche, finds himself out on the wing. Big attacking run from him. Chris Coleman takes him down. Now Hendrickson, little chip in behind. Looking for it to work. Kai Evans is there though. Rio Dyer puts himself under pressure. He's 10 metres out from the line and he's dropped the ball as well. Now Kai Evans knocks it on. Advantage for the Sharks. They may have just made a massive mistake there, the Dragons, by not clearing their ball. Now Apalele Fasi moves to 10 metres out from the line. Round the side of the breakdown, having a go was Fezambata. Now Van Heeren, 10 metres out from the line. Hendrickson gets it back. Bosch knocks it on, and they will go back for the original scrum. This is a fast-paced game at the moment. With the higher humidity, it feels more like 30 degrees, says Arthur, and it was a lot cooler today than the rest of the week, but still very humid, says Gareth. And there as well. And yeah, that humidity can be the killer, can't it? It just makes the ball that little bit slipperier. It also, you just feel it a bit more. You feel like you can't get away from the temperature. South Africa, the Kings, World Rugby, Australia, the Kings of World Cricket. Do you agree? Says Morning Lagrange. I mean, cricket-wise, the fact that Australia have done so well across 3 formats definitely puts them right up there in terms of what they've been able to do. Like test match cricket at the moment, you've got to say Australia are the best. And yes, if you say that when you've got any India supporters watching, they get angry at you. But yeah, I think Australia cricket-wise is definitely right up there at the moment. And commentary sounds so much better with full strength. South Africa team, says Arthur. Well, it's a lot easier. There's a lot more, I guess. Yeah, they've just put a stat up. Sharks have lost all 5 matches in the URC this season. That's a nice stat to show, isn't it? But yeah, it's a lot nicer when you've got those familiar faces out there because you've at least got a little bit more background about the players as well, which is quite awesome. And yeah, I mean, to bring 3 players back, in fact, 4 players back and have them be Makazole Mapimpi, Lukanyoam, Evan Etzebeth and Jaden Hendrickson, not exactly bad players to have returning off the bench as well. They've got a decent-looking bench. They've got Jansi van Rensburg, powerhouse there. Grant Williams, also going to be coming off the bench. The Ox, who was, for me, one of the best players for South Africa throughout their World Cup with the just commitment that he showed throughout the competition and just his dominance at scrum time as well. He was everywhere. The big man, Ox Nishe. Now another advantage. Oh, was a knock on the ground, but taking it quickly was Hendricks, a short ball. Oh, has he been held up? I think he has, yes. They didn't get it. Oh, okay, I think I just heard Hendricks, he took the quick tap. He thought he had the man set up there in Francois Fenta. It didn't work, and I heard Lukanyoam go next to him, Jaden Hendricks that is, and just say, slow it down. Or just slow down, I think was his exact words. Because I guess that's the thing. They had all the momentum. Yes, you might catch them out with that quick tap, but it's also now cost them a good attacking opportunity. Ox won us the World Cup. Yeah, he was one of those players that were just undeniable throughout the competition. And I feel like some people probably still underrate what he was able to do. Like that game, was it up against France or was it up against England that he just changed it when he came off the bench? I think it was that game up against England that scrum penalties just came time after time when he made his way out onto the field. And that was the match winner, really. Oh, Etzebeth has his knees taken out from underneath him by Bradley Roberts. Now Makazole Mapimpi. Roberts misses that tackle. Wainwright almost gets cleaned up by Noche. Now going off to this left-hand side, Apalele Fasi already scoring himself a 1 try throughout this game. A lot of physicality being shown by both of these sides. Lonsdale that time. Machuno, the ball has bounced out again. Humidity can be a brutal one when it comes to hanging on to that ball. Now Blacker goes across to Kai Evans. Thinking about the cross kick here, and it's just straight out on the full. Little bit too optimistic, I think that was, from the Welsh side, the Dragons there, and also the Billy emoji and the Ox, says Eric Davison. As well, but already 19 minutes in, which I believe means we are very close to a drinks break, ladies and gentlemen. The Sharks must learn to be patient, says Molyneux Grange. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Their line-out hasn't been bad at all. So the fact that rather than going for their line-out or picking a scrum from 10 metres out, like, they've got plenty of time on the clock. They've got a 10-point lead. They didn't need to take that quick tap. Yes, if it works, it looks all well and good. Francois Fenta has shown why Dialenda and Estes in our deserve box centres. He seems to be the Achilles heel of the team, says Kutinda. And there as well. Because who else have they got in the midfield for the Sharks? I'm trying to think of who else they got. I mean, of course, Werner Koch can play in the centres as well. I'm trying to think of who they've lost compared to last year and who they've gained. Because there are still, I think there's about 2 or 3 other players, of course, because before Lukanyuan was back, they did have to try and fill those gaps. And I think Vernikock was playing 13 while Lukanyuan was away. Nicely thrown in. Once again, taken by Van Heeren. Hendrikse, short ball there to Venter. Playing inside centre for this contest. Now back across to Oosterhuizen. Hendrikse back to Machunu. Using all the big forwards and good run from Machunu there. Running forward, Kerwin Bosch. Taken down nicely just outside of the 22 here for the Sharks. And this is a lot better from them. Just playing structured rugby, not trying to rush it. Knowing that they've got that size and knowing that they've got the skill to be able to break the line. Here comes Apalele Fassi again. Managing to beat a defender. Didn't watch the final live. The 2-week build-up was too stressful. So Sunday morning catch-up was a nice surprise. Says Arthur Harrison there. Almost stolen the breakdown from the Dragons. Fezambata has his legs taken out from underneath him. Hendrikse gets the pass out wide to Mapimpi. And he scores the try. Oh. What gesture was that from Mapimpi? I assume it wasn't what I think it was. Because if it was, I feel like he'll get in a little bit of trouble for that. But might have just got a bit excited, Makazole Mapimpi. Scoring the try there for the Sharks, the second of the match. I've always wondered if Colin Marler could have deflected the Ox, but he was excellent all tournament. Says Eric, and also, yes, says Light. And there as well. Okay, I don't think he meant the gesture that it looked like. Which is good, because, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. He's a bad lad, Mapimpi. Is that correct spelling? Mapimpi is correct, yep. And Mapimpi try machine, says Arthur. There as well, but now 2 tries from 2 here. After 22 minutes. The Sharks, I mentioned, their previous best of the URC competition, 21 points. And if this kick goes over from Kerwin Bosch, even if it doesn't, a converted try from here will put them to that next level. And Bosch has just drifted that one away to the right. And that will remain now with the score being 22 minutes in, 15 points to 0 in favour of the Sharks. It's a great pass from Machunu, though, to be able to get that pass away. Maybe he did mean that gesture, Mapimpi. Now kicked off for the Dragons. They will look to go high towards that 22. Nicely claimed there by, was once again Emil van Heeren. There was your view on the traditional tours returning before the Nations Cup starting, Hamish. I do like the idea of the traditional tours because, like, it seems like international rugby-wise, you know, you got your July internationals, you got your November internationals, and you play a new side each week, and it doesn't really give you that same, like, this is, like, important, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of the games are entertaining, but they seem like it's just like, oh, you could lose to one team this week, but you beat the next team the next week, so it doesn't really do too much. It's only really world rankings changes that we have at the moment, so it's good to know that the tours are an option of, you know, going somewhere and just playing a whole heap of games of rugby, even if you bring a big squad and play up against some kind of provincial teams as well. Ryan Jansi van Rensburg is on the bench. Kok is an option. Dayanti has played 13, maybe for a game. I should go 12. Dayanti is number 13 and get some more ball. He'll score some more tries. Says Kotenda and didn't Mapimpi start the epic Eben versus Alalatoa, I should say, scuffle? I believe so. I think he was involved in it a little bit out on that wing. He also got himself yellow carded, though, in that same game, I think it was, for celebrating scoring his try or something along those lines. I don't rate Bosch hot and cold. Says Arthur. Looks like Kai Evans is going to be taking on a shot here for the Dragons, which, I'll be honest, I don't know if that's the right choice. It's not even an easy kick either. It's right next to the side. It's going to detract a lot of importance of the World Cup, honestly, because if you beat every team in the Nations Cup, you are truly the best regardless of the World Cup and miss the odd tour where they play provincial teams midweek, and that is where the British and Irish Lions Tour does something very right, and that is playing just games of rugby up against different sides. Like, I love the fact that they're able to play up against either the South African URC teams or the Super Rugby teams if they're in New Zealand. Same with Australia for 2027. Oh, in fact, no, sorry, 2025, I think, is the British and Irish Lions Tour. Of course, World Cup, 2027 in Australia. Now, line up this kick, Kai Evans. He's missed it. So that was a bad decision, to say the very least. When you're 15 points down and you're trying to get a three-pointer from a very tough angle, it's hard to feel sorry for you. It's just brutal, but it just is the case. You know, you're 25 minutes in, you haven't really had an attack. 3 points won't change the game for you. You need tries. The Sharks haven't stopped scoring yet. They've still got 2 or 3 more up their sleeve, at least. All right, well, especially Hamish. Glad to see the Bulls won. Nice to hear you play captain in cricket. Says Chloe in there. I did indeed. And we managed to win. So luckily, I kept the winning streak alive. Even though my captaincy at times was probably pretty bad. Like, my batting order was shocking, I think, in terms of where I should have had people. But it worked. We managed to get over the line. That's the main thing. Agree, Arthur. It's going to create the same view of soccer. If you win the Champions League, everyone calls you the best, but you hardly win your domestic championship. The Nations Cup is going to create that. And like Australia, 62-metre attempt at goal, says Arthur. Yeah, it's just like the Dragons, their line out's strong enough, isn't it? To be able to go for at least, half a crack. I think Auntie playing, he hardly touched the ball, if I'm not mistaken. He is not playing in this game, no. But I think he's coming back soon, isn't he? He's getting close to returning for the Sharks, or has he already had some minutes throughout the season at this stage? But Kerwin Bosch kicks it downfield to the halfway line. Win prediction at the moment has 96% in favour of the Sharks. Now, I can tell you, if the Dragons had scored off that penalty, perhaps that would be probably still 90% or so, but it would have been a bit of a closed gap. Here comes Bradley Roberts. Throwing it in. Claimed nicely at line-out time by the Dragons. Now looking for this backline move. A nice attacking run, but brilliant tackle made there by Fenter. Attack and run. Kai Evans. They've got men on the inside and they used them. That will be the try for the Dragons. And it's Dane Blacker who scores it. Where'd that come from? That was a very nice play. That is awesome to hear, Hamish. Congrats. Says Chloe van Rooyen in there as well. But Dane Blacker scores his 16th try for the Dragons. Coming at a very good time as well, trying to close that gap a little more. Backline quick with the way that they were able to find those gaps and just attack. Flat run. Vern the Cock was lured in. And then from there, Machazoli Mapimpi found himself 2-on-1. And I and Chloe, nice to see you back. Says Arthur, and also try. Says Eric in there as well. Should be a nice easy kick as well. So that will actually make the score 15 points to 7. We have got there, Dayanti did play last week. That's why I asked. Says Morne, but that kick has gone over now 28 minutes into the contest. 15 points to 7. Now the Sharks. Let's see if they can change that momentum back into their favour, which they should be able to. We have got there, I really missed all. Says Chloe van Rooyen. When you guys hooking up? Says Arthur. Well, she doesn't follow us on Instagram, so not anytime soon. Anyone who doesn't already follow us on Instagram, it's going to get a post one day, and it's going to be a very good one, hopefully. It's going to be kicked high now. Fern the Cock. Slapping it back. Nice bit of work there from the Dragons, though, to be able to hang on to that ball, and they have now got it again. Nicely worked by Sean Lonsdale. Now Blacker. Back into the pocket. Kicked high from Will Reid. Rio Dyer chasing after this one well again. Manages to slap it back. I think there was a knock back. So no knock on. George would be jealous, says Eric. That is true, yes. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to check out the Kiwi Lads Entertainment channel as well. If you do want to see more of George, he's on there at least once a week. We're going to be uploading, I think, 2 or 3 times a week now on that channel. Yeah, be sure to check it out. It's kicked nicely. Knocked on, though, by the Dragons. I'm scared of Instagram, says Chloe. To be fair, Instagram is a scary place, isn't it? Looks like there's some sort of injury to the head of Will Reed here as well, which is not ideal. And we got the hearts there from Arthur. 30 minutes in. Like they're saying, the medic got onto the field extremely quickly. Okay, one of the commentators has said that he thinks it's a tactic to slow the game down. Although the way that he was sitting for Will Reed, I hope that it's nothing too serious. It looked like something could be spinal-wise. They are sounding like they're going to check it just to make sure that he is going to be all right. But I think he's on all fours. He's back up to his feet now by the looks of it. But yeah, he might have got a bit of a crunching one on the neck. Ends up pushing it back in. It looks like he is going to be all right now. We're going to see it here. He went up for the ball. Oh, no, you can see why he stayed down. He got Makazole Mapimpi's head to his head. Now, 8 points difference between these two sides. The cheerleaders at the ground having a great time, although they would be having a much better time, of course, if the Sharks can score off this set piece. 38 metres from the try line. Aki Suoli going head-to-head with Kuni Oosterhuizen in this one. And then on the other side, it is Mashunu up against Chris Coleman. Jaden Hendrickson, though, puts the ball in. Now it's starting to roll a little bit for the Sharks once more. Dominance in their scrums has been the word of the day. It's a knock-on, though, from Fenter again at 12. So they will go back for the original penalty. Now the Sharks, this is where I don't know if they'll take the 3. I think that they will instead look to go for the corner. It's going to be an HIA for number 10, the one who did end up with a Makazole Mapimpi headbutt. Just a big push forward from the Sharks. They have not had a scrum so far. I don't believe that they haven't got a penalty advantage at least from. So it just tells you how dominant that scrum has been. Oosterhuizen doing a great job, looking angry at the moment. Okay, I was just listening to the referee there. By the sounds of it, I would assume that they are going, I want to say for the 3, but they haven't run a T out there. So I'd actually say it's probably a kick for the corner. Aki Sauli got scrummaged backwards so fast his boot fell off. They've got to give him a new one now. Quite a few people in attendance for this game. Absolutely loving the action. Kerwin Bosch, I do not see a kicking team near him, which means he is going to put this ball into touch. And the Sharks are going to look to be aggressive near the end of this first half with Kerwin Bosch. Wants this as close to the corner as he can get, but he will accept anything he can. Unfortunately, that was all. Okay, it's all right. It's gone out, they've said. Kerwin Bosch has just said, I thought that was dead. But the referee says it is a 5 metre line out now. That would have been an interesting one to see from another angle. That's a big maul. It's gone down legally, though, from the Dragons. Hendrickson gets it off to Fenter. Quick hands to Bosch with the sling and pass to Evans. And that is not one of the teammates. Although Vern the Clock, it's the penalty now. Vern the Clock off his feet. This is... The Dragons may have an argument here to ask for a yellow card, but I don't think they'll get it. Just with the fact that Vern the Cock went straight onto the ball, I actually thought he was all right there. But I think Kai Evans just missed his pass that he was after. Eric, we're from the same era. That's about my pepper pot, says Eric. It looks like Kai Evans is now taking a bit of a head knock. They've already lost Will Reed with a head injury assessment. Kai Evans. Oh, yeah, nah, Vernicock, that left arm was down. You can understand why the penalty. Vernicock is saying, did you see that? He's trying to say that it wasn't. Now, Kai Evans actually going to be going off for an HIA. So just in one motion, they've lost their halfback, their fly half and their fullback. The Dragons having to make another change here. It's quite the mustache that he is rocking. November, of course, but Kai Evans not looking too flashy. He doesn't actually look like he'll be returning to the field for the rest of this contest. But Hughes, he is on the field for Reed. And Kai Evans, he is a must-have player for the rest of this game. But Williams will replace him for the final 7 minutes or so of this half. Opportunity for the Dragons with the line-out time. My old club couldn't afford smelling salts, so we used pepper instead. Says Eric there. Now the rolling maul looking set for the Dragons. Breaking off the back. Already ready for that tackle was Noche. Etzebeth unable to get that turnover. Rush defense there from Noche. Loves getting there early and putting in a big hit. Aki Seuli taken down well. Now back to the right-hand side. Chopping tackle from Fizambata. Short ball. That was not the pass that they would have wanted. And instead the ball goes down. Nicely cleaned up by James Fenta. Now Mapimpi going across to Jaden Hendrickse. Look for the kick. Advantages over Vernicock running onto that one. But he has missed the tackle. Hendrickse finishes the job. Looking for the turnover. Doesn't get it either. Old-fashioned test rugby. Our crowds rushing the field. 4 a.m. games against the ABs. Says Arthur. Now 40 metres out from the line. Back across it will be Blacker, the lone try scorer for the Dragons. And it actually looks like they're going to put this one back into the pocket. Have a bit of a crack and an up and under here. Does go high. Waiting for this one to come down. It's inside of the 22 and the mark is taken by Kerwin Bosch. No real troubles there for him under that one. So use up a little bit more time as well in this case. But both sides won't mind a spell every once in a while just to have a bit of a breather. Good clearing kick from Bosch there. Gets it down to only 14 metres out now from the opposition line. I guess that's one of the problems that you have when you do allow the opposition a mark. When your kick isn't quite as accurate as you need it to be, they have all the time in the world to be able to absolutely put the slipper through the ball. Which is exactly what Kerwin Bosch did. Now going to the front. Nicely taken. Oh, that's poor. Once again, nonchalantly does put that ball down Dane Blacker. And Nick White, still got the best mustache in world rugby, says Monica Grange. I'd agree with that. I feel like it's definitely up there. Who else have we got who's got like a good one that we can think of? Jeremy Thrush used to have a real good one, if you know who he is. He actually had like the handlebars down the side too. But who else has got like current rugby players with a good mustache? Do let me know, ladies and gents. Yes, the ABs were brutal. I got to see one touring match in which Murray Mixed-Red ripped up a crash bag ripped up the crash bag on the post. Says Eric Davison. Now 4 minutes remaining. He was brutal and eye close, says Robert. And their chat as well. The thing is, the Sharks, when they have the scrum feed, are lethal. When they don't have the scrum feed, are lethal. They've had some very good scrums, so I don't think they mind whether they're putting the ball in or the Dragons are. This time they have got the feed. So, once again, looking pretty strong at scrum time. Front row's coming up. Another penalty advantage. It's just every day of the week the penalties are coming in now. Nice wide pass. Vernicock goes off to upper left. Makazole Mapimpi having a little bit of a juggle, but gets the grubber in behind. Pushes the player. Should be a penalty against him, but he is going to drag him back. It's taken back a 5 metre scrum. I think Makazole Mapimpi's got away with one there. It was a big two-handed push to the back of the Dragons player. I think it's still going to be a 5-metre scrum, though. Hi, Robert, says Chloe, and like the feed mates. It's about 100 viewers, so Makazole Mapimpi. Oh, no, fair play. My bad. I thought from the other angle it looked like he gave him a shove, but from that angle it was just shoulder on shoulder. He is fine there. Werner Koch going in and pushing everyone, as he normally would. Tried to go to C.O. Tompkinson, realised that C.O. Tompkinson was not moving. Decided it wasn't a good idea. Now a 5-metre scrum. Neil Powell not looking happy at the moment in the coaching box, and I feel like that's because of the dream start that the Sharks had. They got their early 15 points. They got 2 tries up at Lelefasi, of course, scoring the first, and then it's just gone a bit quiet since then. The Dragons, they are sitting 7 points, though, just the 1 try for them. That was Dane Blacker, although it does seem like the screws have come out a little bit since those 2 changes had to be made of their 10 going off as well as their 15. Another big push. This time they have got the penalty advantage again. Hendrickse back to Makazole Mapimpi, who gets a little bit closer to the try line. Still playing the penalty advantage, Evan Etzebeth. To get closer to the try line around the side of the breakdown, I believe it was Fenta this time. That being James. Again, Mbata gets that a little bit closer. I think the Dragons, they've asked for the penalty. Oh, here comes a yellow card, though. Okay. The question is, what is this for? And also, Hamish, you're becoming a pro. That was a good commentary role. Says Arthur there. Thank you very much, mate. I feel like anytime you say Makazole Mapimpi's name, you can say it real quick and it just sounds good, if that makes sense. Like when he was doing the grubber through, like it's just fun to say. And I almost get, like there was one time that we were talking about a Makazole Mapimpi try, and I think I almost had a little bit of a South African accent while saying it as well. Eric, this channel is awesome. Says Arthur. Okay. Yellow card means yellow card. That was an interesting sentence. Yellow card means 10 minutes off the field is what I meant. Which now gives the Sharks not only a massive advantage statistically and kind of numbers-wise, but also the fact that they have to make another change at scrum time to be able to try and counter what is a very, very strong scrum. Now, they have to take off Johan Brossa, who had a good run earlier on in this game, but unfortunately they just can't afford to not have another forward on the field. So there's going to be for Yendel to make his way onto the field. Jaden Hendrickson now, though, feeds the ball, and that's a solid scrum from the Dragons. This time they've actually countered back, and that should have been a Dragons penalty. But they do not get it, but looking a lot stronger at scrum time this time. And we have got there, to be honest, Guru wasn't my favourite, but he was kind enough to send me to Hamish, and when one of the load sheds hit him, says Eric, and we're hoping to do a little bit with the Rugby Guru in the near future as well. He was actually the first ever collaboration we did on YouTube. So he was sitting on, I think he was on about 990 subscribers. We only were sitting on about 80 subscribers, and he was kind enough to do a collaboration with us. So I have a big spot in my heart for Johan. And yeah, I know he's also working tirelessly on trying to bring out a good rugby game, as it's something that a lot of people have been asking for a long time. So hopefully he's able kind of pull through with that as well. So the question, why do the Wallabies play with 1970s disco shorts? Says Arthur, I mean, it is a good question. Now another penalty advantage here for the Sharks. Off the back, Nortje, like a tank, runs towards the try line right at the end of the first half. Evan Etzebeth driven backwards there by his opposite number. Now Kerwin Bosch runs out of space, so has to run it himself. And thank you very much, Robert, for that gifted membership. The ball has been stolen. Another penalty now. It's for not rolling away. Did you hear Joe Schmidt as a possible Wallabies coach? I mean, that's the thing. The job's wide open. Eddie pretty much left them high and dry and said, sorry for breaking everything for you Australian fellows, but I want to go to Japan. Yeah, he's kind of wise about rugby, like you, says Eric in there as well. Right, cool and Bosch. You're going to kick this one for the corner. Now, I disagree with this decision. I think you go scrum every day of the week. Let's kick that one into touch. It will be about 6 metres out, but when your scrum is so dominant, you try and milk another penalty, and you try and get them another yellow card for penalties in the scrum. Although I don't know what happens in that case. I guess it's uncontested scrums when they play with 13. A 10 out of 10. Says Eric there, but now 5 metres out from the line, Fezambata. With this throw, nicely claimed there by Van Heeren. Waiting patiently at the back, Fezambata. It's not moving too much. Hendrikse runs out of space but gets the flick pass round the back. They will have to check it, but I think it's going to be a try for that one. Okay, they think there might have been a knock on, but Hendrikse with a bit of brilliance with the flick round the back. Straight to Vern the Cock. Okay, they want to check whether or not there was a knock-on from Hendrikse. On-field decision is try, though. So, they need clear and conclusive evidence that this is knocked on, or else the Sharks have got their third in this match, right on the verge of half-time as well. So, a good time to be able to score it. We are just waiting patiently for the TMO to fire up. And open your heart, go vegan, says Paulina. I ate some chicken earlier on, Paulina, unfortunately. But I did feel bad while doing it, if that helps. And which coach will criticise the ref for the first half, says Eric. Oh, is that, yeah, that might be is that a forward pass? I think we need a side angle there to see whether or not Fezambata knocked that ball on. Paulina has got the sad face. Although, I did also have some salad today. So, does that even it out a little bit? You know? Yeah, I think this is going to stand as a... Oh, where's his foot, though? Where's his foot for Hendrikse? I'm hoping they're not going to look at this for 15 hours, though, and they make a decision. Thanks so much, Robert. That was very kind of you, my friend. Says Chloe, did Chloe get the gift of membership in the end? I didn't even realise. Okay, there's no clear forward pass. There's no clear knock-on. It will be the try. It will stand, and the Sharks will now sit on 20 points. The referee just jogging over. The try will stand. And now if this kick goes over, the Sharks will have more points than they have had all throughout this United Rugby Championship, of course. And Mir says it was there from Arthur. And also we got the hearts there from Robert. And also, blow up ref, my dinner's waiting, says Eric there. Well, hopefully it is still hot. Vern the Cock sitting 2 from 3. And like I said, if they get this one over, then they will have more points than they have scored in any of their games. So they would be on the right track. Killenbosch now. Deep breaths being taken. And he's missed it. So it's going to remain at 20 points to 7 going into half-time. The Sharks will have the man advantage for the next 6 minutes of that second half as well. But Vern the Cock, one of the 3 men to score the tries alongside Machazoli Mapimpi, as well as Apalele Fasi. More reason now for the wedding. I think that is from Arthur. And also the heart face there from Robert. But yeah, the Dragons, they'll be disappointed with that half, I'd say. Like, they started decently. The scrums have been abysmal, is the best way of describing it. I feel like that's one of those cases, though, that unfortunately they're just outmatched at scrum time. Their other problem, though, I believe, is the fact that they've lost their 10 and they've lost their 15, both to HIAs, and they both may not be returning. But 66% possession in favour of the Sharks. They've had 178 metres made compared to the 158 of the Dragons. 8 penalties conceded against the Dragons. I would say 6 of those have been at scrum time, which is why they ended up with the yellow card for Chris Coleman. And also just the 2 penalties from the Sharks. So their discipline's looking a lot better in this game compared to some of the past ones. Enjoy your dinner. There's Arthur in there as well. Now just showing the highlights, that first try being scored by Apalele Fassi. It was the assist to Kerwin Bosch, who did the skip pass, saw the space was there. Their next try was scored by Mahazoli Mapimpi. Managed to score it out on that left-hand side. And then the last try of the half coming right at the end from Vern the Cock with the round-the-back pass from Jaden Hendricks. So, of course, 2 Springbok halfbacks that they've got available here, with Grant Williams making his way off the bench for the, I'd say, last 15 minutes or so they'll give him. I don't think they'll give him too much more than that, but Apalele Fassi doing very well so far throughout this game with the running game. I think Kai Evans for the Dragons actually looked pretty good. Yes, he made a couple mistakes along the way, but also was able to create that line break for the Dragons. He is now off the field alongside Will Reid, who also has the HIA. We haven't heard any news of whether or not either of those 2 men have been able to pass their HIAs. You'd have to hope that at least one of them would make their way back out onto the field, or else, losing your 10 and your 15 in one go is massive. And the Sharks, they will want to capitalise. They only need one more try to be able to get themselves the bonus point, which would be, actually, that would be their first point in the URC. They have had 5 games and none of their games, first point from a bonus point, I should say. Of course, they have had games that have been close, so they have received bonus points in that regard, but not actually for scoring 4 tries or more. So in their game up against Zebra and their game up against Connacht, they actually got the 1 point for being within 7. Both times being within the 2, in fact, on the scoreboard. But second half, probably not too far away, ladies and gents. For the Dragons, they've already had to make their 2 changes of Williams. He is out there on the field, and Hughes has also made his way out there. Some big players for the Sharks coming later, including Oxnechat. If you thought the scrums were dominant now, wait till that man gets his way onto the field. The Sharks may even consider purposely dropping the ball so that Oxnechat gets to scrummage. And to be fair, they'll be winning penalty after penalty at scrum time as well, if that was the case. They've got Labaskachny as another option. Also alongside him, Grant Williams, like I mentioned, Bjorte Chamberlain, and also Jansi van Rensburg, who will more than likely take the spot of Francois Finte in the later stages of this game. Either that, or they might, depending on how Lucanio Arm's going, of course, you want to keep him out there for as long as possible, but you want to also make sure that he stays fresh, seeing as it's a big run round for that man. In this contest we have there, guess what I'm having? Clue, I need scissors to eat it. Right, well, you probably, depending on where you are in the world, I know that some people use scissors for spaghetti. So you got your spaghetti, because some people, they'll do the stirring of it. They'll pick it up and then they snip it. So yeah, my guess would be spaghetti. Although you've also got the emojis a little bit earlier on, I think that kind of looks like spaghetti as well. So maybe like spaghetti and meatballs, or spaghetti and not meatballs. Meatless meatballs. Just showing there that try again from Dane Blacker. That was the only time we saw a try from the Dragons throughout that first 40 minutes, which is not ideal. They would have liked a few more points. They did go for the 3 points earlier on, though, in the game, which I didn't agree with. And I feel like the scoreboard's starting to show why they shouldn't have gone with that 3. That's a big yawn. First guess of new teeth that are tender in the gob. Says Eric there. I'm quite excited for breakfast, I'll be honest. After this live stream, while Munster versus Leinster's taking place, I might end up cooking up something, hopefully decent. I don't know what I'll have yet, though, but it's kind of, well, I've had 2 hours of sleep. So I'll probably have breakfast/dinner, go to sleep for about maybe 6 or 7 hours, somewhere around there, wake up in the afternoon, and then from there, be up for about, I'd say 10 hours, somewhere around there, sleep at about 2 or 3 a.m. tomorrow. Good to go for Monday. I just showing that Werner Koch try again. The round the back pass from Jaden Hendrickson was a thing of beauty. Now, rolling more is also another aspect of the Sharks game that's looked very strong. So, just their full pack in general, and then their backs have had, I think Hendrickson's foot, I see that replay again. They must have checked the foot, but it was kind of closer than I thought it was, and I thought it was quite close. It was just in the field of play when he released that ball. The Sharks 1 try away from the bonus point. The Dragons, they got a bit of work to do. There's someone going past for a bird. I think it was a bird. A few of those around this hour of the morning. 7:06 a.m. So I believe that means it's 8:06 p.m. in South Africa. The next game that has taken place will be kicking off in 23 minutes' time. That is Leinster versus Munster. Should be an absolutely awesome game. Glasgow versus Ulster. Another game that has taken place a little bit later on. We will be covering that one on the channel. No, we won't. That's a lie. I'll be sleeping at the time that game takes place. But next week, we've got a few games that we are hoping to cover alongside the Sevens that is going to be taking place. So all throughout the week, we will have Sevens videos popping up on the channel. So be sure, keep an eye out for that. South Africa, Samoa, New Zealand, and Canada is one group, which is quite a hefty group, to say the very least. Still got the pool next to the ground. Looks like it's about 2 people enjoying the water. It's probably the best place to be at the ground, to be honest. Like, in terms of the heat that you got to deal with, even with the humidity and even with it being nighttime, it is still very hot. Players, of course, will be trying to cool off in the changing shed so that they can make their way back out there, have a big impact in the second 40. Some of these guys may only get another 15, 20 minutes before we start seeing the subs being made. We have next round, Bulls versus Sharks. We are hoping to cover that game. That is at 2 a.m. New Zealand time on Sunday morning. Just have a very quick look in terms of the Sevens to see what kind of overlap we will have for that. But we will be hopefully able to juggle it quite nicely. So Sunday at that stage, perfect, nothing on during that window. So that will be ideal. We'll be able to cover that game between the Sharks and the Bulls next week. Then after that, Samoa play Canada, Fiji play Great Britain, Argentina, Ireland, and then New Zealand, South Africa, the last game of the Sevens day. Anyone know which players recently transferred to Munster? Who have they gained, Munster? I know they've lost a couple players. Alex Nankerville is one who I know of just because he was playing for the Chiefs, but he was not really well, he's there this season, but his transfer, I think, was announced about a year ago. So, yeah, it's been a little while since his was announced. I think they've got a couple new forwards, if I'm not wrong. They're in a tricky scenario because I think Jean Klein and RG Snyman, they can't actually have both of them or something along those lines due to Jean Klein's now playing for the South Africans. We go there. Guys, can we hit the like button? Says Arthur. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button. Second half just about to get underway. It has taken a little while for them to get back out onto the field. Was a prop or two. Says Eric. Yeah, I think who'd they bring in prop-wise? Trying to think through it, their lineup. When does Stephen Kitsoff play for Ulster, by the way? I assume that will be coming in the near future. In fact, I'll have a quick look now. See if he's playing in the game later on tonight, just while we've got a little bit of time. Is he playing? He's not in the starting lineup, so I'd assume if he's not on the... Oh, he's off the bench. Old Stephen Kitsoff in that game between Ulster and Glasgow. It'll be interesting to see how he ends up going. There's some good games of rugby still to take place today. 2 big games back to back. Go like this. And we'll go like that as well. Oh. Okay, the 2 sides are just about to make their way back out onto the field by the sounds of it. Be a lot of nervous energy out there in Durban because, like I said, the Sharks, they are yet to get themselves a victory this year, but this is their best opportunity. And I don't think they'll get a better opportunity to be able to build that momentum that they need. Go like that. And like that as well. There we go. Lovely. Right. Second half. Nearly here, ladies and gents. Upalili Fasi, of course, scoring one of the tries. Werner Koch, as well as Makazole Mapimpi. The other 2 try scorers. Just the 1 try for the Dragons, although they do play with 1 less man for the next 6 minutes. They want to have an impact. They want to fight back. Who is that at the moment? I think that's still 22 on the field, so I don't think either player has passed their HIA at this stage. It's just such powerful Leinster team tonight. Wondered if Roundtree would chance it. Says Eric there. And yeah, that's the thing. I mentioned about it how this game, there was a chance that it could end up being one-sided, but that game between Leinster and Munster, there is actually a chance that Leinster win that game by a large margin. If they get their momentum flowing, nice and early, like Munster, they've been a great side and they are the defending champs, but if Leinster really stick to a game plan, I should say. Like, they'll be a tough side to beat. And hey there, Hamish says Mark Manley, and there as well with a few biceps there, the rugby ball, and a bit of meat at the end. Welcome in, Mark. Hope you're doing very well. Yeah, I hope you've been enjoying the URC action. Currently only 15 metres out from the line. The Sharks have got themselves the ball. Jaden Hendrickson going off to the left-hand side to Fezambata. And exactly, says Eric. And Jay's coming back from watching the Bulls live, says Flexi. And there as well. Or just coming back. Cool. Did you enjoy the atmosphere? And also, how many people do you think were there, Flexi, out of curiosity? Because it seemed like the ones who were there were very excited, but it just seemed like there were quite a few empty seats as well, unfortunately. Rio Dyer, great take from him. Tackled by Jaden Hendrickson on the halfway line. I don't think we've seen enough of Rio Dyer's running game so far throughout this half. Oh, good bit of work. Or throughout the first half, I should clarify. Now back into the pocket. Kicked high here. It's going to be an awkward one. Oh, that's a hard landing for Upalele Fasi. Asking for the penalty. Doesn't get it. Bradley Roberts started to drive forward. But Werner Koch doesn't get the turnover that he was after. Seo Tompkinson. We haven't seen enough of him, I don't think, throughout this game. But now gets another carrier. Welcome, Mark and Flexi. Says Eric Cooley, or Sauli, I should say. He's actually taken a real bad knock on the nose as well. He is tough. Nice wide pass. Dyer puts it down out wide. That was his chance. I said we hadn't seen him running with the ball enough. They finally were going to find him, and it slips through the fingers. I don't know how many people were there, but I got a pic with an oldie. Says, with Moody, says Flexi. And they're nice. You have now got a picture with a Rugby World Cup winner, fun fact, which I'm sure you already knew, but it is true. Now Fezambata, only 10 metres out from the line, unchallenged there at line-out time. Hendrickson back across. Here comes James Fenta. Dragons trying to look for the turnover with Aki Sauli, but he wasn't on the ball. And the heart there from Chloe and the chat as well. Now Hendrickson rolling the ball back. Another 37 minutes remaining. Partial charge down, I think. Or maybe not. No, jumping into touch with that one. Makazole Mapimpi. Now it will be the line out for the Dragons again. I'm trying to work out when they'll take Hendrickson off. I don't think they will for a while. It's just when they want to get Grant Williams out there. That's the big one, because I feel like his attacking near the end of the game is going to be brutal on the Dragons' defence. Now Bradley Roberts again moves up to 22 metres out, and that is going to be the penalty advantage in favour of the Dragons, who are still playing with one less man. Rio Dyer has thrown the ball forward twice. Fun fact, Brad Roberts went to school in Durban. It's felt like a home game. Great lad too, says BLSR. I did not know that. South African school, like high school, or was he all through his schooling? Do let me know. Right, the Dragons have got a chance at 3 if they really want it, but they will kick for the corner. They have to be aggressive, and that is what they've decided to do. They will be 5 metres out from the line now. Oh, yeah, big contact on Brad Roberts. By, I think that was Machunu, who got it a little bit wrong, didn't duck at the knees. 8 penalties conceded so far from the Dragons, 3 from the Sharks, so just the 1 in the second half has been conceded thus far. Yep, he's a full South African, born and raised. I went to Michael House. Says BLSR. And now rolling more here, looking strong, but taken towards the touchline. Hendrickson trying to shut it out, and the ball is stuck in there. Great rolling more defence from the Sharks. Their forwards are just on it today, I think is the best way of describing it. And they'll be disappointed that they've only got the 3 tries for the amount of work and the amount of penalties that they have been able to win. But just getting stuck in there, driving from the side. Was that a penalty? Or should it have been? I don't think it should have been. A couple of the Sharks players were quite side entry-esque, but I think the initial joining was fine, which is why they were able to push them towards the touchline. Now, scrum feed 5 metres out from their own line here, and every other scrum we've seen, they've managed to get themselves the penalty advantage. So this one, you'd assume from 5 metres out from their own line, their plan will be no different. Big push again. It's wheeling, and they get that penalty. Machunu is going to be a Bok one day. He was a number 8. I think his brother boxed as a pro, says Eric. Well, there you go. I did not know that. What weight class was his brother in? Because his brother's a big boy too. So I'd assume probably heavyweight. Is Pepsi playing? He is. He's actually playing at number 7 for this match rather than 8. But he has had a decent game so far, Pepsi Portalese. Probably haven't seen him as much in the last 25 minutes or so, but has been a part of that strong 4-pack that keeps on winning penalties. And also had a couple of decent runs earlier on. I think he's made quite a few tackles too. It's like another change being made here for the Dragons, but that is actually due to that yellow card coming to a close. Back to 15 men on the field now for the away side. It means that Coleman comes off and Yendel makes his way on. Nicely claimed by Pepsi Butalese. Now James Fenter going across. Oh, Fenter has passed it off to Nutsche, who's actually head-butted the ground like he was trying to dig a hole with his forehead. But now Rio Dyer, he's taken that one well. Tackled by Makazole Mapimpi as well as Emil van Heerden. Counteract there from the Sharks. Looking good as well. Getting over the ball. Winning the penalty again. Makazole Mapimpi though, taking the quick tap, finds the pass off to Etzebeth, running like he's a winger, and scores the try, the Springbok world champ. That's how you take a quick tap, Hendrickson. Take notes, because that one worked. And media can be dangerous, so I feel safe in my space. Hamish, you are such a good commentator for sure. Says Chloe in there as well, but Eben Etzebeth flying down the wing, the big man, and scores the try. Great support run. Takes the quick tap. I should mention that is now the bonus point for the Sharks and now the most points that they have got throughout any of their URC games. Tapped, went quick, and Etzebeth was there. Almost gets pushed over the line by Machunu, who was, tell you what, they had some big boys out on that wing. or wanting the chance to score on bonus, says Arthur. Yeah, so at worst, they are walking away. Well, let's be honest. They're at worst walking away with 2 points here. 1 for being within 7, 1 for being on those 4 tries. I don't see, if the Sharks were to somehow, which I don't see happening, by the way, but if they were to somehow lose this game from here, I could only see them losing it by within that 7. But I don't see that happening. So I'd say that at the moment, Sharks have got a very good chance of securing those 5 points right then and now. It's sure a slow game, all right, guys? Says Chloe, I think half time took about 15 minutes or so. So I think that was why it feels like it's taken a bit longer. But yeah, only 9 minutes away from Leinster versus Munster taking place, which will be exciting. Geez, even when he starts running is scary, to say the very least. I'm thinking about that roast chicken, I'll be honest. That's why my brain looked so blank there for a second. I was just thinking, do I cook it up after this stream? It's one of those ones you can put it in the oven, you can watch the rugby, then go and get it afterwards. Kick dead from the Dragons. That's the balls up. And now they've got the option of a scrum or a 22. Oh, I think they'll take the scrum, seeing as they've had that dominance all throughout the match this far. 50 minutes down. Like I said, the Dragons, they won't be liking that kick for multiple reasons. Hey, who's your man of a family? Imagine a shoulder barge from Evan. Says Eric, yeah, it would hurt. Or you probably wouldn't remember it because you'd be knocked out. And everyone says, Daniel, welcome back again. Hope you are keeping well still. And also, I was very proud of us Bulls, says Chloe. And that answers the question when Hendrickson would go off. They've actually brought Grant Williams on now. So he's given 30 minutes to work here. And this is where the Sharks can really look to up their points differential. Rather than looking at this as we've won the game, they need to look at this as these extra points could be absolutely crucial near the end of the season. Definitely with the fact that these are their first real big points that they have had. And greetings all, great to see the Sharks wanting for a change. Says Kevin, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Oh, it's kicked downfield. I don't think he got it the way he wanted, but it's taken into touch by the Dragons there. They made another mistake. But yeah, I would say in terms of, I guess, the South African sides, the fact that the Stormers are the only side to lose this week is kind of weird because last year it was the opposite at times, but any time South African sides were playing, the Stormers were just winning. But now, up against Cardiff, they would have loved to get themselves the win there. Missing out, looks like they've made another change as well. I believe it is Justa now, who's out there at number 16. Ebenezebeth, just nonchalantly, I'm going to use that word a lot now, walks up to the line out. A little bit of a mistake from Fenter at 12. The ball is still available for the Sharks. Now Williams sends it off here to Noche. Taken down low by Bradley Roberts, who really attacks the kneecaps when he makes his tackles. Williams, I think the Dragons were sneaking up offside there. Can't afford to give away another penalty. Chloe, you're a Bull fan from Pretoria. It's stolen by the Dragons. Bit of a foot race. Finds his pass away to Sio Tompkinson. And he finds the pass up. That is Ford, though. Brilliant work from Werner Koch. I think he's just saved a try. Sio Tompkinson almost just jogging towards the try line. He thought he was through, but Werner Koch and his will to not give up and not concede a try might have just saved one. And how's it going? Says, oh, it's going very well. Nice early morning start, of course, for these URC matches. They do just want to check this to see what it's actually hit. Okay, they're going to check everything they've said. On-field decision is try. My girlfriend Jacayla says, hi. Hello, Jacayla. Okay, I believe what they're saying is Werner Koch, it might have actually hit him, which is why it's gone that far forward. Well, that's accidental offside anyway, I believe. Yeah, it's clearly in front, so it's going to be no try anyway, way back. on the halfway line. No try. The Sharks still only conceding the one at this point. That will frustrate the Dragons a little bit more. Yeah, so penalty goes the way of the Sharks. But even with that, the fact that Werner Koch was able to cut off C.O. Tompkinson is massively impressive, and he's just got pure pace. You see how he's come from that 7 side of things. Oh, Grant Williams thought about taking it quickly, having a bit of a laugh. The players have a guess who is a cheeky monkey out of Reed or my girlfriend Jacayla. I'll say Reed because, yeah, I feel like if I said the other one, then that would be a bit strange, wouldn't it? So, yeah, I'll say Reed, I guess, out of, like, just common denomination. Now the change being made for the Sharks looks like Oosterhuizen. He's going to make his way from the field. Machunu off as well. That is for Oxnashe. And Jansi van Rensburg. Another change that has been made for the Sharks. And that is for Fenta at number 12, which was our original prediction. We thought that maybe there was a chance that they might go with someone else for him to replace, but currently this rolling ball looking good. The Dragons managing to drag it down, popping off the side. I don't think anyone was expecting the man to be through. It's almost a knock on. In fact, it's 2 backwards strikes there, passed out wide, stolen for the Dragons. Werner Koch just ripping the player who actually had the ball out of the breakdown. That was impressive. Yes, I am a Bulls fan, Arthur, but I'm not from Pretoria. I love when Hamish is nonchalant, says Eric. Yeah, it's going to become my favourite word now, I think. What did I call it at the start? Unchalant, I think it was. I didn't quite have it right, but now we got it. And Creel Centre of the Bulls is a Bok player, says Jomo Williams. Yeah, David Creel, he looks very good. And the benefit you've got is the Boks do like a bit of versatility, and he does offer that option of either playing at wing, and I think he can also play fullback if he needs to. So he's a very handy player to have. Looks like another change being made here for the Sharks. That'll be Lavaskachny make his way on, and another change for the Dragons here. You're right, it's Reed, because he gets lots of mischief, because he's a silly goose. So here's Ollie, but now nice attack and run from Jansi van Rensburg. Finds the offload of Werner Koch off to Williams. That's another one for the Sharks. Attack looking strong. That was a combination of power and pace working together in unison. Okay, the referee's just saying that his commentary or his communications is going in and out all throughout this game, which of course is not ideal. Yes, Jesse and Pollard. See Chloe there. But like they've said, the Sharks, they've found that attacking form. Jansi van Rensburg had Werner Koch waiting with him. And then just straight through was Grant Williams. It's only been on the field for, that is 6 minutes now. And already has a try to his name. Great start for him. Kerwin Bosch, 3 from 5 in the kicking department. So he'd like to increase that percentage, of course, before the end of the game. Try. See, here's Eric there. That kick has gone over from Bosch. That kid has lost his shirt. We have got there. I was waiting for that Hamish the thirst, says Chloe. Great bit of work from Grant Williams. Sliding through. Assist for Werner Koch. Crowd loving this because they know first win under the belt of the Sharks. Now, for anyone wondering what's next for the Sharks, they have got an interesting game next week. And it's interesting because it is a South African derby. It's going to be Bulls taking on the Sharks at Loftus. That's going to be an absolutely awesome game. We are covering that one on the channel. Then they have got the game up against Pau in the European Champions Cup, or the Challenge Cup, sorry. And also their game up against the Cheetahs, actually a South African derby in that regard. And then they've got their game up against the Stormers right on New Year's, early in the week. It is going to be Sharks versus Lions. I've just realised we are 35 days away. In fact, less than that now. Oh, Rio Dyer has claimed that one, and it's a try-off kickoff for the Dragons. It's one way to do it. Oh, it looks like he's hurt himself, though, in the process, Rio Dyer, though. I said he's been working hard. That is his 14th try, just matching the number on the back of his shirt. But yeah, we're only like 35 days away from a new year. We're almost in 2024. Why the stadiums are empty? It's a good question. I would have thought a lot more people would have been going to these games, but maybe if it was different sides that they are facing, maybe we'll see a few more in attendance. Have any Dragons pulled up for cramp? Not quite, I don't believe. I must say you are very relaxed now. Says Chloe, a much better week for South African teams. Last week was a disaster. Says Arthur. But yeah, the fireback that a lot of the teams needed just to build their confidence, kicking now off the tee, will be Rodri Williams, and he gets it over. And that is now going to make the score 12, or in fact 14 points to 34. Now, I don't want to say it, right? But this game's still secured by the Sharks, isn't it? 20 points is too many for the Dragons to get, surely. I feel like the Sharks have still got probably 2 or 3 more tries up their sleeve, though, so I'd like to see them bring up the 50 points. I feel like that would give them a lot of confidence. Now, deep inside of their own area. I'm going to kick this one downfield, and it does go into touch around halfway. Another line out here for the Sharks. And their line-out has been looking very good. Their scrum as well, just set piece in general. It's been where they've been extremely handy. Daniel Euster now to throw this one in. Looks like Eben Etzebeth will be playing the full 18 minutes. They did take off Van Heeren just before. Nicely claimed by Eben Etzebeth at line-out time. Kerwin Bosch, short ball to Jansi van Rensburger. When he drives his legs, he's extremely hard to stop from making meters. Look, Kanyawam, short ball off to Upper Lelefasi. Now Williams goes to Vernecock, passes behind Machazoli Mapimpi, and now the Dragons have got themselves another chance here with the line out. So right, Amish, says Chloe there, and also the try from Eric there as well. Yes, still 2 big games taking place for the URC today. Munster versus Leinster has just kicked off, and then alongside that, there is also going to be the game taking place between none other than Glasgow and Ulster. Bradley Roberts. Another line-out throw for him. I think he will play a majority of the 80 minutes, but Eben Etzebeth has just slapped that ball away from him, but it's taken back there by, big shot on Aaron Wainwright. I haven't said that man's name once. I said how much of a key he would have to be in this game if the Dragons were to do well. I don't think he's touched the ball. I think he's just been defending the whole time. The Dragons, 35 metres out from the line, in a good attacking position now here. Flat ball off to Owen. Trying to find that next pass. Blacker is actually the man who receives the pass. He was facing backwards at the time, so he's done well to make a couple metres in the process. A spin. Shut down early was Hughes. They've gone for a kick again, the Dragons. I don't think that's the right choice. It's going to be down to Kerwin Bosch, who has all the time in the world to send this one downfield. And he's got the kick about 25 metres out from the Dragons line. That was one of the worst times to be kicking, I have to say, for the Dragons, because all they've done is made it so that rather than being on attack from 25 out, now they're on defence 25 out. Yes, they've still got the ball. I'm just slouching down a little bit. Got a bit of cramp myself. It's from cricket earlier on. Got to stretch out the quad. Yeah, we're good. Stolen at scrum time. At line-out time for the Sharks. Big Oxness here. Getting within the 10 metres. Williams, Springbok to Springbok at the moment on show for the Sharks. Future Springbok, Pepsi Buthelezi having the carry. Williams off to Oxness here. Has Eben Etzebeth with him. Advantage as well here for the Sharks. Jacobs getting close. Williams off to Pepsi. Buthelezi, he's got it down. I almost choked on myself But Pepsi Buthelezi gets the try for the Sharks. 39 points now they make their way up to. It's the big hug from Ebenetzebev and Noche. Great work from Oxnechet getting that real front foot forward type of ball. Then Williams off to Buthelezi. Tackle was made by Wainwright, but he still managed to wiggle his way down, put the ball over the turf. Does end up scoring the try. Now I'd have to say the game is secured. 20 points, I was still like a little tiny bit worried. But now I think we're good. Chicken is very healthy. Amish salad also, says Chloe there. Yeah. I just remembered I have lettuce in the fridge. I have to deal with that. And by deal with it, I mean eat it, but just it's probably close to old. Lining up this kick now, Kerwin Bosch. And also Jan is in the chat as well. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. Bosch has got that kick over. 41 on the board. Yes or no, ladies and gents? Will the Sharks bring up 50 points? So they would need, well, they won't go for 3-pointers, I wouldn't think, from here. So they need 2 more tries. Can they do it? Yes or no? Do let me know. I think yes. I think that they've got enough potential and enough time to be able to get it done. 50 on. Says Arthur there. It's kicked off short by the Dragons. Has gone the 10 metres, but they were too casual about it. Although Sharks have given the ball straight back. Here comes Rio Dyer. Tries to find the offload to Roberts. Loose ball picked up by Jan-Stefans Rensburg, who's pushed back into the challenge. Williams now off to the right-hand side. Kicking that one. Who's that? Who's done that kick? Upalele Fassi almost got the 50-22. Is it a 50-22? Or was it I think it was taken back. Oh no, it is a 50-22. Yeah, it is. Just inside of the half, then kicked out. Oh, that was close to a 50-22. Might have gone out just before the line, but it's a great chance again. Oh, Rao actually making his way onto the field for Etzebev, so he doesn't get the full 80 minutes. Scored himself a try, though, doing very well in his first game back, Eben Etzebev. Now Williams attacking around Jan-Stefans Rensburg, knocks that ball on. Theo Tompkinson passes on the outside. There's a chance here for Rio Dyer to start pumping his legs, but he just keeps giving the ball straight back to the Sharks. If you want to play for them, all you got to do is ask. Now off to the right-hand side, Williams trying to snipe. He's gone through. Roberts isn't able to catch him, and it's going to be Lapis Labaskachny who gets the try for the Sharks. 50 points is definitely on for the Sharks, and now they only need one more try. They're up to 46 here. But Labaskachny, a man who scores the try. First ever try for him as well in his career, so he will be, well, I want to say he'd be very happy with it. He's not even smiling. He just knows that it was a good one. But Rio Dyer giving the ball back to the Sharks, allowing them to have that attack, and Grant Williams is just too good around the side of the breakdown to not have someone on him 24/7. And then Labaskachny, great support line, managed to break through. And they score the try there, the Sharks. 48 points on the board now with that successful kick. Still 15 minutes remaining. We could be looking at 60, 70 points maybe even. In fact, I am going to be checking, but if anyone knows, do let me know. What is the highest points that a side has been able to score throughout a game in the URC thus far this year? I'm going to go on the results now, see what I can find out. I see Munster scored the first try in their game up against Leinster. That's still impressive. Doing well in the early stages. Oh, we go like this, go like that. Now Pepsi Buthelezi might have made a couple extra meters there. Go like that. We'll go like that as well. There we go. Grant Williams from inside of the 22. Try. Says Eric running onto that one. Great take from Ral. And how did the All Blacks lose box with homegrown players plus foreign players versus box homegrown players? Says Jomo Williams. Well, they scored less points is the easy answer, of course. Apalele Fassi. Now sitting about 30 metres out. The Dragons do actually get their penalty there. Time off, accidental head contact, they say, for the early stages. Right, I'm going to find that stat while we've got a stoppage in play. So far in this match, Ivan Etzebeth, he made 5 tackles, he scored a try, 31 metres made, and 3 times he got gain line success. So the Sharks, they're sitting on 48. The Lions got 61. Is that the highest that we've had so far? It's looking pretty close to the highest. 45, 52 for the Stormers, 63 for the Bulls. Up against the Scarlets in round number 1. So 63 is the most points that we've seen. I don't know if they've got enough time here, the Sharks, with 14 minutes remaining to be able to get a little bit higher. I do watch other teams as well. I think all our teams at the end for South Africa. I do enjoy watching other countries as well, especially All Blacks Hamish. Says Chloe. And there as well. But yeah, just getting a little bit of strapping here. It's going to be Owen. Crowd loving it. I think that's the thing. Now that they've got a win, I'd like to think that they'll get a few more people in attendance for the Sharks games. Definitely the ones taking place in South Africa. They're normally known for a strong fan base. Still got a few empty seats around though. They'd love to fill that up. I think they've got a few away games though first. I think they play the Lions at home, but I think their other games up against the Bulls and the Sharks are away. Bulls and the Stormers is what I meant to say, rather than the Sharks. Yeah. So hopefully they can sell out that game early January up against the Lions, or at least get close to it. Would be ideal. Now, sitting 22 metres out from the line, the Dragons with 13 minutes remaining. Aaron Wainwright, one of his first carries, and straight away over the ball. The Sharks get the penalty. Not making it easy for them at the moment in the breakdowns. Anytime they get that opportunity, the Sharks get that ball. And now they've got the opportunity. Oh, it looks like Wainwright's actually limping a little bit here. Hopefully nothing too serious. Chamberlain to kick this one into touch. Still 12 and a half minutes remaining. There's more than enough time to score probably 2 or 3 tries if the Sharks play their cards right. Which throughout the rest of the game, you'd have to say they've done pretty well. Of course, the Challenge Cup around the corner. They have got Power and they have got the Cheetahs as their 2 matches. I feel like the Sharks, their goal will be to win that Challenge Cup because they'll be disappointed that they weren't in the Champions Cup. And, I mean, to win the Challenge Cup is a good way of being able to say, hey, maybe we should have been. Now, Williams going off to the right-hand side, back into the pocket. Lukanyuam tries to find the offload, and he does so. Gets it to Pipsi Buthelezi, who offloads from his back to Oxnashe. That was forward for the Sharks. But Apalele Fassi receives the ball. They say play on. Grant Williams off to Labaskachny, who has already been able to score 1. GIC So You nearly swallowed me up, says Chloe. And there. Now Williams going off to the right-hand side. Biota Chamberlain. He'll be lurking. That was forward. Yep. I've got it that time. And the scrum feed now for the Dragons. Although that does not take away the danger. Because we have already seen some very good work at scrum time from the Sharks. Winning a lot of advantages. They're just showing Oxnashe. He'll be keen for a scrummage. A very, very good player when it comes to that. And he was able to help his side drastically in terms of what they were able to do throughout that Rugby World Cup. One of the absolute key performers. Now 10 minutes remaining. Okay, the referee just said time on, but the clock was still going, so I'm wondering whether or not the clock might be a little bit wrong, but 95 tackles made so far from the Dragons, 16 tackles missed, 56 made by the Sharks, only missing a few along the way. So they'll be pretty happy defensively. Yes, they did concede the 2 tries. They'll be a little bit sad about that, but being able to score a half century here in terms of points would be massive for them. And definitely a confidence booster moving forward. Ball is fed in again. Too much instability at scrum time. We've got new players and we're not getting it right, says the referee. Oxnashay was saying it was the other man's fault. Referee says it's both of your faults. Right. This is a big scrum. Because the Dragons can win it. I know it doesn't win them the game, but it's just a little moral victory for them. To know that they are able to scrummage up against this brilliant Sharks forward pack. Are we going to get a clean scrum? Big push earlier. Yep, they get it out the back. Wainwright now pops it back loose from the Dragons. Once again putting themselves under pressure, but great run from Hughes to make his way up to the halfway line. Now Blacker. Across again. Any breakdown so far, we've seen at least one Sharks player looking to get that turnover. Theo Tompkinson tackled low by Daniel Juster. Rush defense from Nutshad doing well. Oxnashay leaving his feet. And the breakdown almost intercepted there. A lot of pressure being put on, but Rio Dyer has managed to get it back for the Dragons. You pulled them, says the referee. Counter ruck there from the Sharks, but no one realised it popped out the side. Another offload up. Of course, they have got 2 men on the field, or both halfbacks. That is an absolutely terrible pass, and that is going to be Grant Williams scoring the try. I don't know whether he thought Williams was on his team. He does have the same last name as a guy on his team, so I can give him that, but just popped it straight into his hands. I don't think Grant Williams will ever score an easier try than the one he just got on your birthday, Amish. Says Chloe there. Yeah, we've got the 7s coming up on my birthday next week, but I've said already that my birthday's delayed so that we can cover the 7s without having to worry too much. But yeah, should be good fun. Theo Tompkinson just straight into the hands of Grant Williams. I think if I had to help him a little bit in terms of why he passed it straight to Grant Williams, I think as he got tackled, maybe his arm got clipped in the pass. Like, that's stretching, though, to say that is why he passed it straight to him. Now lining up this kick, and it has gone over. So now they find themselves sitting on 55 points to 14. It is still a possibility, ladies and gentlemen. The most points that have been scored throughout a URC game by one side was 63 by the Bulls in round number 1. Since then, the second highest is actually the Lions, when they were able to get 61 only about maybe 6 hours ago. Can the Sharks get themselves that nice little points differential boost, I think we'll call it? Because their points differential, like, overall, it's not terrible at the moment for a side sitting at the bottom of the table, although they certainly won't be after this. It's going to be another knock on, or in fact, they've said it's gone back. Now the Sharks have been able to claim it. Rahl hanging on to that one on the ground. Oxnashay has to play a halfback. Now Jacobs gets up to the halfway line. Oxnashay playing halfback again. He's taken Grant Williams' job. Kicked him behind from Van Rensburg, and that one does go into touch. Vernicock not too happy about it. Some hands on hips at the moment. There's some tired players on the field. The Sharks, they know they've got this one. They know they've got 6 minutes now to try and close out the show. Finish on a high, that is the main thing as well. They've had some games where they've looked good early, but then haven't quite been able to put it together. And then Munster are leading Leinster 10-0, ladies and gentlemen. They scored a try and also managed to get themselves the 3 points. Ice cream cake or a fruit cake? I would go an ice cream cake. Mainly because, like, fruit cake depends on the fruit, doesn't it? Like, cake or ice cream cake, I'd go cake. But, yeah, fruit cake, I'd go ice cream. Just because, like, if you're wondering what's an ice cream cake, it's just ice cream. So it's easy, you know. A bit of a counteract there. Doesn't work for the Sharks. Back into the pocket. Now kick downfield. High. Sharks taking it, it will be up a Lily Fassi, almost through. Wainwright took a bit of a knock on the chin, and A. Roberts is aesthetic in there as well. A big run from Daniel Juster. Williams still playing penalty advantage as well. Norchia goes off to Upper Lily Fassi out wide. Makazole Mapipi gets it back to Upper Lily Fassi. Great hands from him and scores the try, slamming down, and is absolutely loving it. They might check to see if it's forward from Makazole Mapimbi, just because Apalili Fassi looked like he did have to catch it slightly from a behind position. But if it's a try, it's a very good one. And Sharks are just messing with us. Look what we can do, guys, but we won't do it again. Says Gareth, but Grant Williams not share. Yeah, that's close to forward, actually, but that might be all right. I think they're going to say it's fine. I think if we keep showing behind camera angles, it does make it look less forward. I think it's going to stand for Apalele Fassi there. And that will be his second try of the match. Jutta Chamberlain now, an aesthetic. Career points, 156. Try. Says Eric there. So now, all they need is 1 point, and they will be the highest scoring team in the URC for an individual game. 62 points, though, to the 14. I predicted that Sharks would get 50. I didn't predict that they'd go this high, though. They are playing extremely well. Lele Fassi taking some deep breaths there. Right. 3 minutes. Can they do it? Yes or no in the chat, ladies and gents. Can Sharks score one more in 3 minutes? They've knocked the ball on, and now the Dragons have got the ball back. We might have to ask the question, can they score? And now brilliant attacking run, just short. Oh, I think he might have been held. He's allowed a movement. He had a lot of explosiveness there. I don't think that one will stand. I think he's done too much. I think he's propelled himself forward from a tackled position. Oh no, they're confirming the grounding, so they're happy with it. I think. He's held. He's propelled the knee forward. So it will be no try. I won't say fruitcake in case it's that fruitcake joke. Says Chloe. Yeah, so it's going to be a double movement, no try. Okay, the referee, he hasn't worded that too well to the Dragons captain because he said it looks like he could be held, so it could be double movement rather than just so it would be double movement. No try. Great tackle from Lukanyuam to stop him in his tracks. Werner Koch thought about the quick tap. No one cared. Unfortunately, I think he was hoping that the defence would scramble, but everyone knew that they were going to kick that ball into touch. And it will be Butcher Chamberlain. Just under the 3 minutes left. Are they the Sharks? They will, says Aesthetic, and yes, says Robert. And there as well for the prediction of whether or not the Sharks can score one more. Makazole Mapimpi today. 2 defenders beat him, 41 metres made, 1 try to his name. Doing very well. Alongside, of course, Eben Etzebeth, alongside Lukanyo Grant Williams having a great game. Hendrickse doing pretty decently as well. Claimed there by Labaskachny. Dragons almost, not quite. But he was in an offside position, so wasn't able to go for that breakdown steal. Like they said, Makazole Mapimpi having that try assist more recently with Apalele Fasis as well. Chamberlain kicks the ball into touch. This might be their last chance. Only 2 minutes remaining now on the clock, heading towards their first win of the URC season, maybe the first of many. This will start a winning streak. Question is, does the winning streak end next week when they head to Loftus to face the Bulls? That is going to be a very hard-fought game for both of those sides. Definitely because both of them coming off big wins. The Bulls winning their game 53 points to 27. Great flat ball to Lukanyo. Pins the ears back and scores the try. That was some impressive pace shown right there from Lukanyo. Apalele Fasi trying to get the crowd to stand up. I think they're already standing, mate. But that is now going to be the most points scored by any side in the URC in an individual game now for this season. Good night, guys. Hamish, thank you for the 2 games today. Says Arthur, no worries at all. It's been a lot of fun doing these 2 matches, and we will be back, of course, next week with the Bulls versus Sharks game. Like I mentioned, maybe a couple others alongside them. Woo, there's aesthetic there. And the thing is, they actually still have time to score one more. They could break the 70. It won't be easy for the Sharks next weekend. They play the Bulls next weekend. Says Monet Lagrange. Just a great pass to Lukanyo. Lukanyo I should say. I thought the game was over. Last minute try. Yeah, and the clock is actually adjusted. There's still 2 minutes left. We could see another try. I think Hendrickse is the only Springbok who hasn't scored a try in this game. I think every other Springbok has. Pavlova Cakes is a New Zealand cake, not an Australian, says a Robert there. And Munster versus Leinster, says Patrick. Yeah, it's currently happening. And Munster doing very well throughout the early stages. Oh, okay, no, they adjusted the clock, but the clock was wrong. That is full time, ladies and gentlemen. And the Sharks win this game 69 points to 14 in the end. Sleep well, Arthur. Thanks once again for your kindness. Great graphics, mate. Think I'll become a Sharks fan, says Da. And there. A brilliant performance. 69 points on the board. The South African sides, just today, have scored a total of 183 points from their 3 games. 183. The Stormers were defeated, but in their abilities and their game, they got 24 points. South African sides have scored over 200 points this round out of their 4 teams. They mean business. I do cover Bulls vs Sharks next week. We certainly will be, and Jake White will not sleep. Tonight he'll have he'll take a few nightcaps, says Pierre. And I was like, well done, the Sharks. The possession was in their favour. The penalties, 14 against the Dragons, was really hurting them. Every point they scored, they gave away a penalty for it. And you can't win a game with that many penalties. The Sharks, very well disciplined. 4 penalties against them, which is probably one of their best numbers that they've had in quite some time. So I'm sure they will be happy with that. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be back next weekend, like I mentioned, for the URC. We've got a South African derby taking place between the Bulls and the Sharks, so be sure to tune in for that. Also, the Dubai Sevens, the Blitzbox, South Africa in action, covering their games on their channel as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all for the next one.